Hey guys, so today's video is neither about fashion nor self-improvement. It is about my ongoing quest of always avoiding sensory overload or overstimulation. Because the thing is, I'm very sensitive to all sorts of input, but especially auditory input. It stresses me very much. And I also have what is called an auditory discrimination disorder. And it is just a condition that makes it very difficult for you to distinguish noises, and it's incredibly hard for me to understand people that are talking in larger groups or to understand people talking when there's a lot of background noise. Trying to avoid all that, I stumbled across the Karma earplugs. They're a silicone earplug with a hole in the middle, so they are not protecting your ears from loud noises, but instead they are redirecting everyday ambient noise in a way that is less irritating and that also blocks off some of the higher frequencies that would enter your ear in a different way or something like that. And I read into it and it made a bit of sense, so I bought them and I've been wearing them for 5 weeks now, so I thought it's about time I do a review on them. The products all came in this bag and I had to pick them up at the post office in order to pay taxes because
somebody left the EU.
Those are the products that I ordered. I ordered 2 pairs of Karma night earplugs and also 2 pairs of regular Karma earplugs, and in the background you can see the Karma capsule. Now this is the flare capsule. They also have a flare large capsule and a pocket capsule, and I thought it would be really handy, and it really paid off. Now those are the regular Karma earplugs, and they advertise them as having 2 huge benefits, being less stress and HD sound. And among the latter they also list helping with conversation, which is only partly true, because later in the video you hear me say that they didn't help with my auditory discrimination disorder and actually made listening to people talk harder in some instances. However, they do really help in the cinema and with certain types of background noise, such as computers or machines. So it really depends on the context and shouldn't just be taken as an overall cure. Now, those are the semi-translucent earplugs that I ordered. They do look very white in this video. However, they are a lot less visible when they're in my ear, so I think it may just be the lighting. Now here we have some free stickers ordered. I'm not a fan of stickers, I cannot commit. And there are instructions to how you should put them into your ear, which is very important. And then we have this little bag. I saw on another review that the bag loses quite a lot of lint, and I'm now checking this. And the person reviewing them was absolutely right. Now, in general, I'm very skeptical of adding free products to a purchase because I think they just cause a lot of clutter in our homes, and they actually may not be the best choice quality-wise, as you can see here. It would be much better if they just had an offer at checkout where you could choose to have a free bag added to your purchase, or instead opt for a flare capsule, maybe at a reduced price or even at a general price. That would be a lot less annoying and certainly a lot more environmentally friendly, because companies spend so much money on their environment campaigns when it could literally be just that easy. Now this is a package of Karma night earplugs. They are advertised as letting you sleep in comfort and providing evening stress relief. They are also made from a softer silicone, although I don't think that the difference between the two is very dramatic. When looking into the hole, you can actually see a little bit of difference between the day plugs and the night plugs, which I find is quite interesting. And I guess this is what makes the huge difference in taking off different frequencies. So now, what is very important about inserting those is that this part here must lie towards the body, because the first impulse from wearing headphones is to use it facing outwards and inserting the whole thing like this. But this is wrong, and it can actually give you worse results when using them. So what I do is I take it with the hand that's on the side where I want to insert it, and I just take it like this, and I usually insert my finger a little bit at the bottom. It's kind of like inserting a tampon. Who am I kidding? It's you just put it in like this, and it sticks, and that's where it stays. Sometimes when I do a lot of talking, and what I've learned from the first couple of YouTube videos that I did is I have a lot of sideways motion going on, and depending on what I am telling people, one side tends to creep out after a few hours, but I always catch that. I've never lost one. You just like gently press it in a bit and it's good for the next few hours. The Karma Night earplugs that you just saw me insert, they take off a much larger span of frequency, so they are really great for when you're sleeping, and also if you're exposed to a lot of noise. For example, Zoom calls. Zoom calls can be so incredibly stressful because some people don't mute their microphone, some people do not use microphones when speaking, and I don't always use headphones when listening. So I am exposed to a lot of background noise. There's a lot of distortion on what is being said, and these really help me cancel out the noise so much better than the regular Karma plugs would. Now, despite the Karma Night earplugs functioning so well, the regular Karma earplugs still have a place in my pocket because with the Karma Night earplugs being so effective, they often muffle the sounds to a degree where what I'm hearing reminds me of that strange feeling you get when you're feeling very dizzy or when you're about to faint, when everything just starts to blur and becomes very muffled, and you kind of like feel yourself like going deaf in a way. And this becomes very obvious when I'm just standing somewhere with a little background noise and I just can't hear properly, and I'm just like, this is odd, am I okay, am I going to faint? No, okay, it's just the earplugs, but I could be unwell, couldn't I? And I I've worn them for a few days in a row, but it just doesn't feel good to me, so I use the regular Karma products for that. And I think they come in white and also like semi-translucent, but I got the semi-translucent ones because they are just less obvious in my ear. And I've honestly considered like cutting part of this off because I find them so easy to insert at the moment. So I might actually do that and make them even a lot less visible. All Karma earplugs can be cleaned with soap and water, and they can also be disinfected to just prevent bacterial or fungal infections. Now, each set of Karma comes with a little bag to store them in. It's just one of those like high functioning synthetic fabrics. However, they do produce a lot of lint, and this sticks to the surface of the silicone plugs. So I do not like to use this. It is technically not a problem, but I just don't feel comfortable cleaning them after every time I've stored them, and I also don't want to just stuff lint into my ears. I just want them to be clean and safe for me. So what I bought was the Karma aluminium case, and it comes with a little ring for your keychain, and it is quite handy. You just screw it open, there's a little silicone ring on the inside to keep things waterproof, and it fits 2 pairs of Karma earplugs. This goes really well. However, if you stuff your earplugs in a bit too hastily, it could happen that the bottom earplug gets stuck, which is not a problem unless you tend to get anxiety attacks or meltdowns where you just really want to access your earplugs as fast as possible. And then, if your motor skills decline and you're panicking, this could actually really add to your stress. So if you experience those things frequently, you might want to opt for the larger capsule or just be very careful placing them in there. Now, in short, what I like, what I dislike, and how they've helped me. The Carmonite earplugs are incredibly effective, so effective that when wearing them during the day it can be a bit uncomfortable, but when you're dealing with a lot of noise and if you want to sleep, they are perfect. And for all the occasions where the Carmonite might be too extreme, the regular Karma works just fine. Now, one thing that I think could be very interesting for Flair Audio as a company would be to develop insertable general noise cancellation into the Karma earplugs, because one can buy custom-made earplugs that have replaceable filters inside of them, and those usually sell for $200. Now, if you manage to develop a replaceable noise filter for something like that, you can really disrupt the whole market and target a huge audience that has not yet bought such expensive earplugs for themselves. So I think that could be really interesting. As for my auditory discrimination disorder, I have not noticed any improvement. I was in one situation where I even thought they were a disadvantage to me, because I think I could have had a chance at understanding the person better had I been able to listen to the very high pitches in their voice. And because those were filtered out for me, I had to concentrate even more. I was curious as to see if that would help, but it is not advertised as such, so I didn't expect too much, and in general I'm happy. But these did not disappoint. They are great. I wear them every day. I do not want to miss them. So as always, I hope this was helpful to you. I hope I could help you make that decision, chiming in into the pool of people who've already done reviews on that. And I just wish you a very calm week and life and little background noise or sensory overload. So thanks a lot for watching.